Hi, this is an introduction to your new Numnuts tool. So let's get started. So when you open the box, you're going to find the Numnuts applicator, which is for applying the rings, with also the injector and this clear fluid junction in the front. We've also supplied you with a test quick change cartridge with some water in it, box of needles and some rings. The first thing you're going to have to do is to put a needle on the front here, and this is the same process for changing the needle over as you're working with it. You want to remove the fluid junction by twisting this orange collar to release it, pull it forward and it lifts straight out. It's then just a case of taking the needle and screwing it onto the front of the hub here. Make sure it's nice and tight. If you want to use some pliers to get it extra tight, that's fine. Put it back in, open up the tool to expose this front pin and get the needle into the slot. Then place the fluid junction down and pull back onto the tool. And then finally, just tighten up by screwing this orange collar on. And that's you ready to go. Once you've got your needle in place, you want to make sure it's set up correctly. You should find that it sits just 1 or 2 millimeters back from this front pin here inside, so it's safe. If it's too far forward or too far back, it's just a case of loosening these screws underneath with an Allen key. You can move the injector forwards and backwards till it's in the right place and tighten it back up again. We'd also recommend that you change your needle over after about 130 injections, which equates to 2 of the quick change cartridges. You can roll this in with changing over needles on your other tools or when you're moving your lambs around the pens. Okay, we're now ready to load the anaesthetic. We've supplied you with a water-filled quick change cartridge so you can have a practice to get used to the tool. The first thing you need to do is activate the cartridge. And to do that, place it on a solid surface and press the orange collar down till you feel a click. That's it in place, the bottle's broached and ready to go. You now simply take the bottle, place it onto the fluid junction and twist the orange collar until it's tight. It wants to be tight enough so it's not going to work loose as you're using it. Priming the tool is really easy, it's just simply a case of pressing the injector a couple of times. Open up the tool because the needle is going to come forward. Press it once, you should see some fluid inside. You might have to press it a second time just to make sure it's filled up. Now you might see a small air bubble in here, that's perfectly normal and the tool will function perfectly well like that. If it does start to get bigger, it might indicate that something's loose, either the quick change cartridge or the injector fluid junction collar here. Just make sure they're tight. It's worth noting that the tool primes as the injector comes back. You want to make sure the tool's always held upright at this point so that the fluid can flow properly. As you're using it normally, it should be upright, but if you find you've got it at the side and you're injecting, you might find that it starts to draw air into the system. So always keep the tool upright. The Numnuts tool should be able to use all the fluid in the bottle, but keep an eye on it as it gets to the end. Once it's empty, take one off and put a new one on. Once you've done that, you might want to do one more prime pump just to make sure all the fluid's back in the system again. Right, so with your practice bottle, open the ring up, take a handy piece of fruit and vegetable like a banana here, and place it over, and then release the trigger. And what you'll find is that holds the ring in place as you do your injection. You just want to push the button all the way to move the needle forward and in and inject, and then release. And to take the ring off, you just want to tip backwards and pull off. The Numnuts injector works in 2 stages. As you push the button, it firstly moves the needle into the animal, and as you continue to press, it delivers the dose in there. It's important to push the button all the way. And as you release, it pulls the needle back out and primes the tool. When you're using your tool, I'm sure you'll develop your own technique, but one thing I've noticed is that some people, when they've got the ring in position, then squeeze the trigger again as they try to take it off. When the ring's in position, either hold the black handle or even round the neck here as you take it off, and that way it leaves the ring in the right place. I'm going to introduce Barry here, he's our test subject. So a couple of notes on technique. When you're going on the scrotum, With the tool in position, it's sometimes worth just tipping forward and pressing in slightly when you do your injection. And that way we find we get the injection all the way into the animal. And then when we're working on the tails, you might find that as you go to do your injection, it's really, really stiff, and that might be that you've actually hit a bone with the needle. In that case, just try repositioning the tool slightly, and if you can get between the bone, it should go in nice and easily. And we find most people, after a few goes, manage to hit the right position most times. At the end of your marking session, you want to give the tool a nice clean so that it's ready to go next time. You can immerse the whole thing in some hot soapy water, give it a brush, get the worst of the dirt off. You can also give the fluid junction an extra clean, again in some water, brush it, make sure you get the inside of the bore nice and clean. We'd recommend changing the fluid junction once a season to keep the tool working well. You can buy the fluid junction as a kit from our online store, www.numnuts.store, and this comes with the fluid junction and a couple of O-rings. If you find that the injector is a little bit sticky, particularly on the return stroke, it might be that it needs a little bit of lubrication. To do that, take the fluid junction off as before, apply a little bit of vegetable or olive oil to the O-ring and replace the fluid junction back on. And that should free you up. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you find it helpful. For more information, visit our website www.numnuts.store, where you can buy spares, and there's also some more information about what the tool is and how it works.